Right, in this concluding part of PSYCOM, all I'm going to do is break down these clip depictions that I want to show you. So like I said before, you know, if you can find real historical example, or you witnessed an account, or you read about something, or somebody that you know, or even a fictional account, that's where we're going to talk now, that gives a depiction of the kind of emotional states that you want to be in throughout the full spectrum of a violent encounter. So where you want to be mentally and emotionally before the event, where you want to be the second violence erupts, and where you want to be post-event. So cold clinical aggression that you can switch on like a switch and switch off when you're done, like an attack-trained war dog, is a conditioned response that comes through training. What I'm not talking about when I talk about aggression is red mist, when you just lose the plot. So these depictions are going to give you a good idea of what I'm talking about. So imagine you are a gaming character, Call of Duty, whatever else, and you buy various armor, bigger weapons, various things to make your character more efficient as you go through the game, as you accumulate. Well, if you could do that on an emotional sense, what attributes would you want to implement into the character? So as a tier 1 civilian type of idea, even in an extreme situation, I'd want to be able to remain as cognitive as I could. That would be the ideal. So first of all, high level of observation and awareness, that I'm aware of what's going on around me and I see the threat before it unfolds. Second would be a confident demeanor, where I maintain calm and assurance that I can deal with the problem that's coming up. These first two clips show you exactly that. From there, the second it kicks off, ideally I'd want to be proactive, and as soon as I go, I keep going. So an asymmetrical model for violence, just immediate explosion, direct through the enemy. Speed, surprise, and violence of action. As soon as the job's done, you want to switch back to that observant and calm state to reinstall a higher level of brain function, so that you can now assess the situation, negotiate anybody that come into your field, whether how you respond to a secondary threat is going to be very different to how you respond to a scared witness or bystander filming you on their phone. Knowing how to administer first aid, find an exit, drive a car without crashing it, talk to a police officer without incriminating yourself. That kind of thing. That requires emotional state management before, during and after the confrontational situation. So that would be the ideal. So the first two clips I'm going to show you depict that. The third clip I'm going to show you depicts where somebody gets too emotional. Of course, we've all got a line, and this would most likely be the line for most people, certainly for me, where this character receives information that one of his friends has raped his daughter consistently for a period of time. She's 13 and she hangs herself as a result of it and leaves it in the memoirs of her diary. So a very heart-rending thing. But here you see the complete difference, where this character loses the fucking plot and just cannot be controlled, just loses it. So bit of background. So the film we're going to use, once we're warriors, and what became of the broken-hearted. So Tamira Morrison plays the Heke householder, kind of male-dominant figure who's an alcoholic. He's a complete fucking sociopath. He beats everyone senseless, including his wife. Anyone that looks at him sideways is getting it. So, very dysfunctional human being. Not somebody who you would want to emulate at all 24/7, but the exact perfect example of who you'd want to emulate for 10 seconds of a violent encounter. So Tamira Morrison plays this character, Jake the Musk. The first clip I'm going to show you, he calmly depicts that confident, calm awareness, explodes into violence, and then back to calm awareness again post-event. The first one is not really an offensive dynamic, it's more of a counter-offensive dynamic. So he goes out and engages in conversation. Guy goes to headbutt him, and as he goes to headbutt him, he just hits him left, right, left, right, left, right, grabs him, clinches him, knees him, snatches him to the floor and stomps on him. So asymmetrical counter-offensive assault. As soon as it's done, back to calm. This clip depicts the ideal emotional state that you want to be in before, during, and after violent confrontation.
Those muscles from, bro? You been lifting those weights, huh? What, you done leg, am I right? You wanna fuck with me? You should learn to pay your respects. In case you wanna know, it's Jake. Jake the Muss. I was right. Too much weight's not enough speed work. Useless perk.
In this next clip, again, Tamira Morrison, this is from the sequel on Becoming a Broken Hearted. This is a really good scene because it depicts multiple assailants, multiple potentially armed assailants. So two lads in the pub giving him a problem. As you can see in the beginning, again, he's switched on, he's alert, he's observant, he's calm, he's recognised the pre-threat cue behaviour. He walks towards it with complete confident dominance in what he's going to do. And he, in this clip, he's proactive. That is, he hits first. So he uses misdirection by brain engaging, asking the question to deceive. Then he attacks low, then high, and then he just keeps attacking. As soon as one threat's down, he's on to the other one. He uses the environment well. He uses the bar stool, the fruit machine. But the whole thing is tenacious. But look at for the ingredients. Pre-fight, complete state management. Calm, cool, collected, alert. In fight, just hits the switch. Immediate, direct, explosive response that does not stop until he's gone through both subjects. Finished by switching back to calm demeanour. This would be the ideal, again, of the emotional states that you most likely want to be in throughout the full spectrum of a violent event.
Don't worry about it, man. All they're doing is looking at us. You too old for that shit.
What problem with your iPad? With your eye, eh, bud? Here, have a seat. Mikey. Okay. You're gonna give me a beer. Come on. Sure. Come on, sit down.
Conversely to that, in this clip, this is where Jake the Muss loses the fucking plot. This is like red mist. This is what you want to avoid in all cases if possible, because you just lose the plot, you're going to overreact and you are just going to end up dead or in prison. So there's a point. We're all human, so the actual situation, if you put yourself in the actual situation he finds himself in, I don't think anyone worth their salt as a father would do anything different, but it just illustrates the difference between cold clinical aggression, which you can switch on and off like an attack trained war dog, and red mist, where somebody just loses the fucking plot. So in this scene, he's found out about his daughter. She's been raped by one of his best friends, Bully. And you can see the emotional state change in his face as he's reading the lines from the diary, how the physiology changes. His eyes widen, his head cranes forward, his tension in his shoulders, his fists clench. And you can see it, and then he just loses the plot and kicks the living fuck out of this matey, and two people try to grab him, pull him off. He just throws him off, breaks a bottle, sticks it in his neck. And yeah, very, very violent carnage scene, but a great demonstration of the difference and the what you want to avoid.
A 13-year-old girl and sat here drinking with her father while the rest of us buried her.
She's off her fucking head, man.
Sneaking around my house and laying your dirty, filthy fucking hands on my baby! My Grace!
Hey, you're not on the fucking Mariah now, eh? So don't come in here accusing my mates of shit!
Hey, come on, man. Look, no one's thinking straight. We're family, right? Biff, sit down. Have a drink.
And I'm straight with this fucking animal!
Read it. Uncle Bully.
Fucking boy!
Let's go, son.
Dumb bastard bully!
Final clip, unrelated to the previous three that we just looked at, comes from Rise of the Foot Soldier, and it depicts West Ham and Millwall, inner city firm, against Millwall, but in a scene that's very interesting for a pre-fight mental perspective. So, pre-fight perspective, how you think before an event is everything, because you are what you think you are. So, if you're pre-fight facing two people in an alley was, oh my God, there's two of them, I'm fucked, then you're already fucked. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. Whereas if you reframed how you thought about that, for example, multiple target opportunities, golden opportunity to test your tools, then your performance would be unhindered by the emotional hurdle of thinking that you couldn't handle it. Rather, you can't wait to embrace it. So this gives you a depiction. So basically, about 4 or 5 straggler West Ham fans half asleep on a tube train with loads of other people coming into the station, and on the station there's 100 Millwall baying for their blood. They've got fucking machetes, hammers, weapons, these face masks on, and you just know they're kind of completely overwhelmed and outnumbered, right? So as they're coming in, he says, "Wake up, it's fucking Millwall," and he starts getting them all together. And the train's coming into the station, it hasn't stopped yet. And everybody's looking out the window and cowering. I want you to look at the difference in the emotional state and the mental attitude between the person in the corner cowering as a pre-fight perspective of what's about to happen and what they're about to encounter, compared to the main character who's just literally kicking at the door, cannot wait for the doors to open. Even though massively outnumbered, you know, he cannot wait to get to the agitators. So you want to ask yourself a question: how does somebody's mental or emotional state perspective allow them to think in that way and become a student of human behaviour? If you could look at how would you best do well in a situation like that where you are overwhelmed but you have to fight? What mentality would you need? What would be better, cowering in the corner wishing it wasn't happening, or you can't wait to get at it? So it's a clear example of the predatory attitude that you need to engage in violence.
And so it went on. Match day, Arsenal away. My lot have gone up in front, and for some reason I'm stuck with a load of stragglers. Now these cunts have been out on the piss the night before, and they weren't exactly out for an early start.
Fucking hell's Beowulf! Get out the fucking treatment! Get out! Get out! Get out! We can do this, cunt! Get out! You fucking wait!
Life's all about moving forward. You learn what you can and you crack on. I've been running the terraces for over a decade, and maybe this is my time to bail out gracefully.
So then, in closing, these films and clips I've given you have given you some idea of a depiction in modern times. Films such as British film, Australian, New Zealand, Irish film tend to depict violence more the way it is than the glossy American Hollywood bullshit style. But these depictions give you an illustration of the emotional components that are associated to the psychology of violence, which are the most important. So as a recap, PSYCOM is basically about the psychology of combat, the psychology of conflict, the psychology of violence. And the two main areas here are state management and state access. State management, in that being you need to be able to control your emotional response, keep adrenaline under control, so therefore control your heart rate as best you can, control fatigue, pain, fear, disorientation. All of these things will be inside of the fight duress dynamic. The bigger handle that you can get on those kind of things, the better you're going to perform. Next would be state access. So like I said, before, during and after, you want to access an emotional state that's highly observant and confident and calm, and then access that extreme antisocial part of yourself to deal with the violence. Maybe here you would implement the supra state idea, where you just manifest that alter ego to take care of business. And then once it's done, you switch back to a high level of brain function. This would be state access and state management combined. That's what we looked at. We looked at knowing ourselves on a physical level, what to expect, how potentially you could control it, where you stand on a personal self-awareness level, what your belief systems are. And we also looked at the enemy, how does a criminal operate, how do they assault, how do they use violence, how do they use deception, etc., etc. All of these things accumulate to the psychology of conflict or the psychology of combat, in which case really this is the missing link part. So study well. I recommend that you look at other resources such as Dave Grossman on killing, on combat, Bruce Siddle, Sharpening the Warrior's Edge, any work from Richard Grannon like I spoke about before, because this kind of area is least addressed, but it's one of the most important.